Hi, I'm Dylan Bradley, founder of Funnel Excellence, and today I'm going to share with you the 3 laws that enable you to create and monetize your influence. And to do that, I'm going to take you on a journey. There'll be sects, there'll be ancient warriors, there'll be cross-dressers, and there'll even be deep-sea monsters. So if you're ready, grab a pen and paper because we're going to go fast, so pay very close attention. This is for you if you want to spread your message and make a positive impact in the world. This is also for you if you want to be seen as an expert, authority, influencer, or celebrity in your niche. And this is for you if you want to quickly, easily, and effectively monetize your influence. Now, what you're going to discover here in the next 10 minutes are the 3 laws you must follow if you want to build, monetize, and scale your influence. You're going to discover the essential tool you need in order to monetize that attention you generate. And I'm going to give you a very special opportunity at the end of this presentation to shortcut your path to success. Now, I want to warn you that when you obey these laws, you'll have the power to captivate, influence, and positively impact your audience at will, allowing you to create more impact, more influence, and of course, more income. But I caution you that if you don't apply these laws, you run the risk of blending into the background, blending into the crowd, where you have no influence, no impact, and no measurable gain to your influence. So which opportunity do you want? Now, I want to tell you why this is so important. Because it all started when I was invited on the Ellen Show. And I was so excited, like, how can I say no? And I thought it would catapult my career and shortcut my track to success. I mean, how couldn't? Ellen's only the most famous talk show host in the world, right? Well, the deal was, I was going to go on the show, and she was going to sell the clothes off my back. Now, kind of weird, but I was like, you know what? I'm up for it. Let's do this. So I went on, and it was great, right? I ran on stage, Ellen started selling my clothes off, and the crowd was just begging me to give me their money. And at the end of the day, I got a ton of exposure. But the bad thing was, I didn't have anything to show for it. You see, I got all that attention, but I didn't know these 3 laws, and I didn't have a system in place in order to capture and monetize that attention. So what that left me was with just nothing. They actually took the money that people gave me. They took all the clothes. I didn't get to keep the underwear. But they took everything else, and I had to go out and figure out, okay, what am I going to do next to make money? Right? It resulted in nothing once that attention died down. So I made it my goal to set out and figure out how I can monetize the attention that I generate around me, my business, and what I do. And I realized that a lot of other entrepreneurs and influencers, maybe like you, had that problem as well. You do a great job of creating content, of putting yourself out there, but unfortunately, you don't have the system in place in order to turn that attention into a usable resource. Leads and sales that you can use to grow your influence and grow your business. So I made it my goal to figure out how to do that, and I'm going to share that with you today. So that brings us to Law 1. Law 1, recreate yourself. And this will ensure your message has the maximum impact. In order to really illustrate this law, I want to introduce you to George Sand. Now, have you heard of George Sand? It's okay if you haven't heard of George Sand. He was only one of the most famous fiction writers in the early 1800s. Now, George Sand actually sparked a whole movement and inspired a whole generation of people. Why? It wasn't because George Sand, it wasn't just because George Sand was a great fiction writer, but because George Sand was actually a woman named Aurore Dupin. Now, Aurora didn't actually want to be a man, but at the time, women fiction writers weren't actually taken seriously. So if a woman wrote something, despite if it was the best thing ever, it actually no one would read it or pay attention to it. And Aurora wouldn't let that stand. So she figured out how she could get her message out to as many people as possible. And that was, she changed her name to George Sand, and she started dressing as a man, and sure enough, everyone loved her writings. And when they found out that she was a woman doing it and still produced great work, she inspired thousands, perhaps millions of women to actually pursue their careers and their lives in fiction writing. She showed women that they could do it, all because she was willing to set her ego to the side and recreate herself so that her message would be heard. Now, how does this work for you? Well, you need to understand that your market has certain preferences, right? They've been trained to look at certain people, certain industries, certain roles, certain jobs in a certain way, right? And if you look too far differently from that, they get confused and they may not trust you. Just imagine, someone who looks like a homeless person trying to give medical advice, right? You may not, maybe that's just their look and that's how they like to style themselves, but it may not resonate, or maybe people might not trust them. And if people don't know you, especially when you're going out, putting your content out there and trying to attract new people to you, you need them to be comfortable and trust you in order for them to hear your message. So what you need to do is you need to create a look that resonates with your ideal prospect or customer. But you don't want to look like everyone else. Like if you're a doctor, you don't want to look like every other doctor. But so you want to add like a certain, like, I can't put my finger on it, like personal quality to it that makes you stand out. It makes people curious, like, hey, they look like a doctor, they look like an entrepreneur, but there's something different about them. And you want to do that subtly, and that will capture that attention. So that's law 1. And it brings us to law 2. And law 2 is you need to use bait to draw people in, because there's power in having your prospects come to you. And now, to illustrate this, now don't, if you're scared of monsters, don't be. I'm going to show you the next slide, and we're going to go down to the bottom of the ocean, thousands of feet down where it's pitch black. I want to introduce you to the anglerfish. Now, this is one freaky looking fish. Imagine if this fish didn't live in the darkness, no fish would come near it. It would never have a meal, and it would never be able to survive. So this fish is ingenious, and it actually taps into both laws 1 and 2. Law 1, remember, recreate yourself. And law 2 is draw people in with bait. So the anglerfish lives in darkness. And so the way the fish down there hunt is they hunt by sight, right? How do they hunt by sight? Part of it is they do a little bit of smell, but they look for things that glow. That's actually one of the ways they communicate. And so the anglerfish has this lure that comes out of its head. And you can kind of see in the picture right there that the anglerfish has got this lure, and it looks really, really delicious. Like it looks like a really delicious treat. So fish, like that law 1, it looks like a glowing thing to eat, but it looks even more delicious. So other fish, they see it and they're like, I gotta go check this out. And they swim up, and when they do, the anglerfish lights up and then it eats them, right? So that's how it gets its meal. It draws them in with bait. So you're probably wondering, like, okay, Dylan, how do I apply this to me in my business? Right, I'm not gonna be an anglerfish. I'm certainly not looking to eat my prospects. Don't do that. Anyways, you can do this with creating offers that are really hot, really valuable, and that your prospects will want, right? So a couple examples. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but one is if you have a best-selling book. So if you're an author, that's a really good tool that you can use as bait to draw your prospects closer into your sphere of influence and then be able to reach out to them further, right? You're trading the free offer for their contact information, right? The next thing is like a free training or webinar, and this is a really, really good resource to really let your prospects get to know you and spend time with you in order to get more comfortable with what you represent, what your business is, and how you can help them. So that's another good thing. A really simple one, if you're just getting started, are case studies, PDFs, checklists. You can create one of these in 5 minutes, and it's amazing what a checklist can do to help someone, right? There's extreme value there. And then finally, if you're really in demand, or you offer a really high-priced service, right? Some of my private clients, they offer very high-priced services, 5, 10, 20,000 or more. So they need to make sure that people coming to them are not time wasters. So they use a high-ticket application, making someone fill out an application first in order to talk with them. So that's another way you can draw people in, right? And you're all using this bait in order to influence the person more. So the lesson learned here is that your offer needs to be seen as highly valuable and a no-brainer for your audience. And when you do this, you'll attract them to you like bees to honey. And that draws us to law 3. Now, we're going to go way back, thousands of years in the past, and I'm going to introduce you to some fierce warriors. So law 3 is get others to play with the cards you deal, because you want to have complete control of the outcome. And the more you can do this, the better off you'll be. And these warriors, I want you to remember, do you remember the movie 300? So this is actually not just a movie where they're showing off guys with like abs and people killing each other like that. That's pretty intense. But this is actually based on the real battle of Thermopylae. In ancient Greece, the Persian army was moving in, and they were going to take over Greece. They were like 1 million strong, and their forces much outnumbered the Greeks, and they were moving fast, so the Greeks had to organize themselves quickly. Well, the Greeks realized that the Persians were going to reach them before they could organize, and they'd be wiped out. So the Spartans, they figured out that there was a piece of land where the Persians had to cross. It was a narrow channel, and in this narrow channel, the Spartans could essentially eliminate the Persians' benefits from their numbers. So if you remember from the movie, 300 of them stood strong on this narrow passageway and were able to hold off the Persians long enough for the Greeks back in the Greek cities to rally their troops and fend off the Persian attack. Now, this also illustrates what happens when you don't control the options. So if you remember from the movie, or if you remember from history, that actually the 300 were defeated sooner than they expected or would have been, because the Persians found a goat path through the mountains that the Greeks didn't know about, and they were able to sneak up that goat path and then surround the Greeks and destroy them. right? So emphasize one, the Greeks were able to stand up to amazing force, like the Persians, and hold them off because they controlled the options. But when they lost that control, the Persians were able to find the goat path, then the Greeks were not able to stop them. So that's why it's so important to control the options people come to you. Now, how does this relate to you and what you're doing? Well, one of the things I do with my private clients is I have them create these influencer funnels. And the purpose of this funnel combines laws 1, 2, and 3. Law number 1, you recreate yourself. So you can see from the image that it's a picture of me in a nice suit, so I look very presentable. You connect with your market, right? You're portraying your image. So that allows people to draw them in and trust you, okay? And then the next thing is you have the bait, right? If you see on there, I have bait. I tell them what I do, and then I have the bait for them to take action. And the thing that's different about this versus a typical custom website is I control all the options, right? I'm not sending them to my blog. I'm not sending them to videos. I'm not sending them to multiple different offers or products or stories, right? This is specifically designed for each tab of this to promote one offer. Book a call with me, right? That's the one thing I want someone to do when they come here. So each tab, right? People like clicking on tabs. So I have a few like about, my story, my clients. Each one is designed to knock down their potential objections when they come across this. So they can't help but think, man, I gotta book a call with Dylan right away, right? So you have to control that. And it combines laws 1, 2, or 3. And this would work, just like it works for me, it would work for you and your business. It works for local events. This is one of my private clients who wanted to bring people into a local event and then sell them into a back-end program. It also works for high ticket, right? This is one of my private clients where they are actually selling a mentorship program for $12,000 plus. And they actually got incredible results this. It's tough to see the screen, but they got over 1,000 applications for the $12,000 program. So you can imagine they probably did pretty well. And it works for speaking. So if you're speaking, if you're influencing, creating content, it's a really good way to give away that bait so that you get people in your sphere of influence. And of course, it works for other influencers. So the bottom line is this works and is essential for monetizing your influence. Now, I want to recap. Law number 1, remember, is recreate yourself, just like the story of George Sand. Law 2, use bait like the anglerfish. And law 3, control the options like the Spartans. So at this point in time, I only have one question for you. Are you ready to get started working together? Now, I want to show you what that means, right? And what I can offer you. I call it the influencer profit system. And this is a custom-built solution specifically for you and your needs to help you accomplish your goals faster, right? So what's all included? Perhaps you're wondering. Well, you get a custom-built influencer funnel, like the one I showed you, some of the ones I showed you. You get custom branding, so you can recreate yourself with the right image, right? It includes logos, colors, fonts, branding video clips, a sizzle reel, so you can portray yourself in the best light, so you're putting your best foot forward for your customers, right? I set up everything for you. Me and my team set up all your software. We take care of all the tech headaches, so you don't have to worry about it. All you have to worry about is going out there and being you, right? And then I add another personalized membership site, so you can actually offer products and services to your customers. And finally, my personal coaching and consulting to really help you get clear on what you need to do, how you want to recreate yourself, what type of offers you have, and how you can control those options, right? And finally, there's a few other bonuses in there that I'll tell you when we get on a call. Now, this is everything you need to build and monetize your personal brand for your business online. It's amazing, and I love offering this to my clients. Now, I only have room for 4 clients per month because this is intensive. This is a custom made, and I work one-on-one. You're like family. When you become a client, you become like family, right? You get my number, my email, and I work with you because your success is my success. So perhaps you're wondering, how do I get started? Well, the easiest way is you click the button below. That will take you to an application form, and after you fill the application form, it'll let you schedule a call. The reason why the application form is there is I want to make sure I learn as much as possible about you, so when we actually talk, your time is valuable and my time is valuable, so we can get right down to business and figure out if we're a good fit for each other. Now, what's going to happen on the call? That's really important. This isn't a sales call or anything like that. This is a collaborative call, and the point of this call is I want to get to know you, where you're at, and where you want to be. And I really want to figure out if I can help you get there. And I want you to get to know me, right? To see if we're a good fit together, right? So if we are a good fit, there's no pressure, right? You can work with me or you cannot. It makes no difference to me. I want you to be successful and choose the right option for you. Now, if I decide to work with you, right? If we're a good fit and we think this will create the influence and impact that you want, then I'm going to get started immediately. So In less than 30 days, you'll be fully set up and have everything you need to build and monetize your personal brand or influence online. How does that sound? So if you're ready to get started now, click the button below. I look forward to meeting you, learning about your business, and helping you create more influence, more impact, and increase your income. Thanks, and I look forward to talking with you soon.